Hello and welcome back. My name is Jeff, and today we're going to continue our journey down the NaNoWriMo writing process. And so, for those of you who don't know what NaNoWriMo is, it's the National Novel Writers Month, and it takes place in November, and it allows you to write 1,750 words a day with your goal of reaching 50,000 words by the end of the month. Now, originally it was designed for people to create novels and great long opuses that they can create a draft from, and a lot of people can still do that. But one of the other goals is that can you write 1,750 words a day for 30 days straight? And if you can't, that's perfectly fine, but I'm going to try to help you create prompts to help you if you run into a roadblock to build short stories, memoirs, essays, maybe even start a new project for NaNoWriMo, because the goal really for me, in my mind, for NaNoWriMo is to get people to do automatic writing and get a whole bunch of ideas written about. And so I'm going to help you with that by pulling 3 theme cards from the Gift of Virtue Clarity deck, which is a clarity deck normally used for tarot readings, but this clarity deck operates off of themes. And so those themes we can use to build characters and to help develop scenes. So I'm going to pull 3 cards, and we're going to get started right now on our journey to build today's NaNoWriMo writing activity. Okay. The first card is Grace. The second card is Dignity. And the third card is Innocence. Now, interesting. These 3 cards here are all very, very spiritually linked. Grace and innocence are very spiritual words, and they surround a lot of mythology, depending, no matter what background you're in. And so here's the interesting thing. We can start looking at character traits. Who do you know exhibits grace? Who do you know exhibits dignity? Who do you know exhibits innocence? And so these are the types of characters that you're trying to build upon. We can also build them in reverse. So who do you know is the opposite of innocence? And again, it doesn't have to be a person. It's just you want to start thinking about people and characters that may actually lack innocence. Who lacks dignity? And who lacks grace? And again, you have 3 different cards here. They can go up, down, left, and right. One person can have innocence, and one person can have grace. One person might not have dignity. So what do you see when you see these 3 cards? Now, initially, I'm looking at a scene at a hospital where someone is trying to die with dignity, and they want to find their grace. But yet there might be a conflict, because while they may want to die with dignity, the family does not believe that they should die with grace. So their perception of what they believe they are and what they actually are is totally different. And so arguments might ensue based off of this. Even though this person might still be able to die with dignity, they won't be able to die thinking that they had grace. Surprisingly, a little child might say the one sentence that brings the entire family back together. So that might be something that you want to think about. During all this crisis about dignity and grace, out of the mouths of babes comes the words of truth, right? And so let's go through these cards. Because the other thing that I want to do is make sure that we read the cards so that we can start using the words that are printed on the cards to help build the ideas that'll help fill out the cards. So you already got a genuine idea of what I would write a scene about in a hospital bed or a hospice or anything like that. That's what I would do. I mean, Thanksgiving is also another time where we can have those conversations of dignity and grace, correct? So innocence, the maxim that surrounds innocence is the best things in life are free. It's not necessarily innocence in my mind, but it's a maxim that you can use to sort of talk about innocence. But innocence is also the lack of corruption, freedom from blame or guilt, and the state of unconditionality. So in the hospital room, the way that I see it, and again, this could be something you can borrow from, this can be something you modify, this might be something that you ignore. But in this hospital room, this little child, this 4-year-old, 5-year-old, or whatever, this youngin, is unconditionally attached to the person who wishes to die and can see through and can find the grace within the person that adults can't see the grace in anymore. So that's innocence. Dignity. Least said, soonest mended. So you can work with that as well. Dignity also is about self-composure, restraint, a demeanor of respect, and honorable behavior. And so dignity for me is not just about dying with dignity, because for some reason I had that thought in my head, but it is about a person's dignity themselves, their ability to walk into a room and hold their head up high. So even a Thanksgiving dinner where someone might not expect to be treated very well, or coming back to work after an event that might have damaged your dignity as a person. So your character's dignity as a person. So again, that's dignity. And then grace. 1 minute of patience, 10 years of peace. And then the definition is elegance or refinement, poise under pressure, and courteous goodwill. So that's that's their definition of grace. And so if you want to take it to a different level, a spiritual level, you can do that as well. So there's also spiritual grace. And so with these, the reason that I went to spirituality is that you have innocence and grace, which is attached to spiritual environments, and dignity is also attached to spiritual environments. And when I think of dignity, it's about people dying with dignity, especially when they're surrounded with grace and innocence, because as people are trying to pass over, they need to absolve themselves as well, and they also need to find the grace within the life that they lived. And so however you choose to use those words, those themes, these are my interpretations. These are my sort of intuitive moments when it comes to these three terms. But however you choose to use innocent, dignity, and grace, those are the ways that you're going to create those short stories, those memoirs, those autobiographical sketches, those biographical sketches, those scenes, perhaps. And with that, I'm going to just let you guys go and start steeping in the milieu of the idea. I'm trying to get those words out right. But basically, yeah, take those ideas, because this is a very interesting and charged set of cards, because there's a lot of emotion. Because if somebody doesn't have grace but believes they do, there's going to be contention. If somebody wants dignity but can't have it, that's going to be an issue. And if someone is innocent or believes themselves to be innocent but they are not, that also sets up an issue. So you also have those options too. So think about different ways that you can make this into a conflict. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a wonderful time writing 1,750 words for the day on innocence, dignity, and grace. So innocence, dignity, and grace are your words of the day. And I hope you have a wonderful time writing about these three terms. And good luck.